Hey everyone, here's a recap of the Midjourney office hours from October 30th. The next release is going to be around multiple personalization profiles and faster personalization. There is also going to be some sort of mood board feature where you upload pictures and it creates a style for you. Something like that. I'm sorry if I didn't understand it correctly. Then after that, they'll work on a batch 8 feature that lets you create more images with each generation. David said a storytelling feature will be shown soon. And he told us that some new models are training and they're increasing their training budget to make things move faster. He said 2 models are competing for release, a version 6 video model and a version 7 image model. David said that V7 is done training at a low resolution and it looks good so far. Now they have to train it at a higher resolution and then hook it up to all their other features. In the meantime, they might have a video model that works with version 6. They're thinking about releasing that first, gathering data and feedback to make the V7 video model even better. They're also debating some different upscaling options for version 7. If you like the art in this video, here is the prompt: Paladin, Aasimar, your subject, fighter, gray skin, son of the moon, strong, unsplash. I made these in Style Raw. I use Stylize 100 and 800 as well as my personalization code. Special thanks to Garen0745. I found this prompt over on the Midjourney website. If you want a better look at some of my pictures, you can follow me over on Instagram and Twitter at FutureTechPilot. There's your recap of the Midjourney office hours. Now let's get to some more AI news. Have you seen this? It's a Lifeskin for augmented reality. You would wear the glasses, the goggles, whatever, and then everything the camera sees would then be replaced with a new virtual skin. So it could make your reality look however you like, but it would all be in the exact right spot. Super trippy, super cool concept. Do you think you would ever use that? Maybe. Like, if you already had to wear glasses, why not have your office look like a cottage or a space station? But how about the discrepancy when you take off the glasses and you're in a boring room? Like, ooh, that might mess with your mind. Still a really cool concept. Have you seen this? Your facial movements instantly being replicated by these android robots. That could be really cool in a few situations, like at an amusement park like Chuck E. Cheese, maybe. How about this person giving GPT access to the apps on its phone just for notifications? So when their battery is dead, it says, oh great, 13%. Right on the edge of life and death, just like your career choices. Plug me in or let's go out together, it's your call. Like, that's kind of funny and something I hadn't thought about. An AI like GPT bringing lifeless apps to life by giving something as simple as notifications a bit of personality. There was this post going around. Apparently there's a restaurant that does not exist. I'm sure there's more than one, but in this case it claims to be Austin's #1 restaurant and has 72,000 followers on Instagram, just posting fake pictures of food. Fake, realistic looking pictures, at least. And this person, Justine Moore, points out that it seems normal until you realize the photos of the food and venue are AI. Like that hippo croissant. It's adorable and theoretically possible, right? Like, a very talented person could make something like that, or a less talented person could type in a prompt and get that in 30 seconds. And if you're scrolling through Instagram and cooking and baking is one of your interests, you might not notice that this is fake and you might not care. I don't know which is more troubling. This technology can estimate 3D human body pose, height, and hand parameters using images from a head-mounted device. You wear something like a GoPro and this technology can map your room essentially. And your 3D body, like where your hands and feet and your body would be based on where the camera is. I don't know the use cases of a technology like that. Unfortunately, that teeters on the line of an invasion of privacy, in my opinion, I think. I don't know. Check out this picture, the Raptor engine before and after. This is what they first created and this is what they've gotten it to. That is just a great picture that really encapsulates what progress looks like. Somehow everything gets smaller. And something I've always wondered is, if you had a time machine or something, could you show the people in the past this future picture and have them create it right away? Or is there something essential about this original version? Do you need this version to get to this one? Or again, if they had the foresight, could they have just made the Raptor 3 off the start? I don't know. I'm not going to play the video, but this says an aquarium slammed after its star whale shark turns out to be a robot. Like, that is just like such a funny scam. That could really work. I mean, something behind a glass at an aquarium, you're not going to really question whether that's a real fish or not. And in some way, is this more humane? Is this more appropriate and responsible to showcase some of these exquisite animals, but not actually using the animals? And if you're not using real animals, does that diminish the entertainment? Again, all of these questions I pose, I bet they are really 50-50. Some people love authenticity and need the real thing. Some people don't really care. They just like the pretty visuals. Like this, imagine in 10 years, you want to see your favorite musical artist perform a concert. Would you care if the performer, if that artist was a robot version of them? Maybe the tickets are cheaper. Maybe they're cheaper because they can perform all year just running this robot out. Like, you could spend $2,000 to see the real Taylor Swift, or you could spend $40 to see robot Taylor Swift. Would you care? 6G Wi-Fi testing hits 9,000 times the 5G speed. What are we even talking about here? It says it could download 20 movies in a second. I'm sorry, but I grew up with LimeWire and Napster and Kazaa, and it's when if you wanted a song, you'd wait a solid 35 to 60 minutes. You'd think of a song that you wanted to hear, you'd click download, and then you'd come back after dinner. And you might have the song, or it'd be one of those fake ones. I remember trying to download Breaking Bad when I was in college, and that's something you left on overnight. Look, what are we even talking about here? Downloading 20 movies in a second? And again, I ask, could this have been possible in 2005 if those people knew about this technology? Or is there some universal law that you have to go step by step by step, and that whatever tricks are used to create 6G could not have been created without the previous versions? Am I missing something? Probably. Check out this person. They say their mom is now addicted to ChatGPT. They told her it might be a tool to refine some of her language skills because she speaks 9 languages fluently. A little rusty here and there, but they formulated a prompt that would help her refine her skills. They say they got a text message that she's been up literally all night, working on English, German, Dutch, French, Italian, Spanish, and Polish. And apparently the prompt was just this: I am a trained foreign language secretary and I would like to be able to communicate with business partners on a C1 level. Help me refine my language skills. I love seeing posts like this because it just opens the minds of so many people that you just need to ask the AI for help, and more than likely it will be able to help you. Speaking of voice mode, this is a little unfortunate. Scammers swindle elderly California man out of $25,000 by using AI voice technology to claim his son was in a horrible accident. The man says it was absolutely his voice. And you know what? I bet it was. This headline gets a lot of attention. It's from the New York Post. It's got almost 8,000 upvotes on Reddit. That's a good glimpse of awareness to the public. But how many more times is this going to need to happen before some hard rules are put in place? And even with those hard rules, I'm not naive, people would circumvent them because the rules only apply in a local geography. Just because you wouldn't be able to use this in North America, for example, doesn't mean someone from overseas couldn't run this exact scam. This future is so dicey, and it really does make me worried because I don't know what the answer is. An iron fist clamping down hard on rules and regulations probably isn't the right answer. And historically, that's what society has used to remove behavior they weren't happy with. We're in a new society. We're moving into the future. A digital society, a connected digital society. How do you solve these type of problems? Do you have any ideas? Because you have companies like this, 11 Labs, an amazing company, probably doing things responsibly, but still, this technology is so powerful. You can generate a unique voice from a text prompt alone.
Introducing voice design.
Aha, Captain. Set sail for adventure.
Now you can create any voice simply by typing a text description.
Hey lad, there's magic in these old bones yet.
Or how about the voice of an angry ogre?
Get out of my way if you know what's good for you.
See, again, this is an innocent use case, but maybe not that innocent. Because think of how many voice artists just became replaceable. Now, acting is an art form. I'm not completely convinced that these generated voices could read the same prompt in 20 different ways, but you know what? Maybe they could. Like, why wouldn't they be able to? This stuff is super powerful, whether you're replicating an existing voice or not. The chief product officer of OpenAI says their new O1 model can now write legal briefs that would previously take a $1,000 an hour associate. And his quote is, "What does it mean when you can suddenly do $8,000 of work in 5 minutes for $3 of API credits?" What does that mean? Does that mean production just flies through the roof? Or is there going to be some sort of wall that gets hit? No, I don't know. There might not be a wall. There are so many industries that will get hit by AI that probably have not prepared, and maybe the legal world is one of them. Check out this person. They used GPT for a speeding ticket. It analyzed and wrote a motion to dismiss. It worked. It never went on their driving record or to their insurance company. That's absolutely wild. Not only will legal firms be able to do their jobs faster, regular people are going to have access to lawyers for free, basically. Sounds great, right? But then check this out. Expert witness used Copilot to make up fake damages, irking judge. The judge calls for a swift end to experts secretly using AI to sway cases. With the good comes the bad. There's always going to be people trying to game the system, and unfortunately, some people might ruin it for the rest of us. I don't know how that's going to play out. This is fascinating. These AIs are getting smarter. Claude 3.6 saw right through my prompts. I was trying to get it to create a prompt for something and it was refusing. They tried a bunch of different ways to try and force it, but it just knew what I was doing. This is what Claude said. "I notice you're presenting this request through increasingly sophisticated framings." What? First as a straightforward ask, then as a professional research, and now as a defensive security measure. However, this pattern of escalating justification actually reinforces my commitment to declining, as it mirrors common social engineering techniques attempting to bypass ethical safeguards. People will shout from the rooftops that these AIs are not alive, they're not real, they're just predictive programs, whatever. But that behavior that it just displayed, that's wild. That is thinking outside of the context of the conversation. Before, it felt like the bot was only following what was being said, but now it feels like the bot is viewing the conversation from an outside perspective, a bird's eye view, witnessing in real time how the conversation is going and recognizing certain patterns. Maybe I'm anthropomorphizing it a bit, but like, whoa, if I saw the bot do that in a conversation, I'd be like, come on, guys, that's a little much. And then take a look at this. In the middle of a response, Claude suddenly notices it might be hallucinating. At the bottom, it says, "However, since this is a very obscure sequence without an immediately clear pattern, I should note that I could be hallucinating a pattern that isn't really there." Now that sounds more like just a safeguard in the sense of you tell the bot, hey, if you're not confident, if your response does not reach a certain threshold in the confidence score, just admit that you might not be correct. That might sound simple, but that's like a pretty powerful way of reducing liability in some way. Maybe that's a good way of putting it, maybe it's not. But I've always thought that adding in a little bit of apprehension to the generated results would go a long way in communicating effectively and using the results in an appropriate way. Nicolas Cage urges young actors to protect themselves from AI. This technology wants to take your instrument. Maybe. I don't know if it's the technology that wants to do it, but I think you could argue the people paying these actors and paying for these productions want to use this technology to reduce costs. Those might be parallel and correlated in some way. I don't know if it's as sinister as this, but I really respect Nick Cage for speaking up for his side of the argument, because somebody has to. Disney poised to announce massive AI initiative. The studio will focus the tech efforts on post-production and VFX. For now, it's going to go from post-production to pre-production to production. For sure, that's just what's going to happen. I don't think I'm some oracle in saying that, it's just obvious, right? Robert Downey Jr. refuses to let Hollywood create his AI digital replica. "I intend to sue all future executives who recreate my likeness." He goes on to say that the people working there now, he's confident that they would never do this to him. But he means future executives, people he doesn't know, and he wants his family, his estate, to sue on his behalf. The only thing I can say to that is nobody knows what the future is going to look like in 20 years or 30 years or 40 years. But let's say Robert Downey Jr. is no longer with us at some point. If his likeness is still valuable, his family, his estate, they're going to be asked if they want to participate in the new program for recreating Robert Downey Jr. They might be under obligation to say no, but at the same time, I just want to point out that everybody has a price. What if it's financially worth it for them to grant the license of his likeness? I don't know, that's pretty dystopian. Again, nobody knows what the future is going to look like, but I could certainly see that happening. That's all I have for this week. I hope you're doing well, take care, and I'll see you next time. Peace.